Come on, get them shackles off him. Poor son can't eat proper.
Dunno, not sure I like that. What if he runs for it? He's worth a heap of coin.
Ah, bollocks. Been holding him a week, hasn't tried a thing. Why are you up and bold now? Matter of fact, got to thinking. What did a sweet, gentle chap like him do to get the Queen of Zerrikania so riled?
She's a shrew, that's what. Queen and witch in one. Worst of both worlds.
Enough about her. What do you say to one more of your tales? While we toss down some cards.
Ah, why not? And since you mentioned one queen...
Excuse me. Hi there. This is Lost Worm. This is the Worm's turn. This is going to be a channel about, well, of me playing games of various types. Maybe doing some reviews as well, rundowns on different games I've played. And it won't just be computer games, video games. It will also probably be board games, tabletop games, role-playing games as well. And I may throw in some book reviews now and then, since I do read books periodically. So this is my first time recording myself, so it's probably going to be a little bit shaky at first. Things I hope will improve over time. One thing that I don't like so far is I haven't found a good way to get good audio balance without wearing headset. So if anybody knows how to do that, let me know, because I really like to not have to wear my headset in order to play this game with good audio and record it with good audio quality. So the first game I'm going to be playing is Thronebreaker, The Witcher Tales. I just finished The Witcher 3 about a week ago. Well, I'm just going to get started. In general, I'm not going to talk while there are cutscenes going or while people are talking. I'll do my best not to. And that's that. Just also, I love games, but in general, I'm not that great at them, so don't expect any pro gamer skills from this channel. When I was testing my setup to try to get things running, I did start the game a couple times, ran through the tutorial a bit to see how things were working. So I've seen the beginning of the game a bit. I haven't really got anywhere. So all of this is going to be new to me. I try to play games without any with limited walkthroughs, with as blind as possible when going through the game, as I do like the sense of discovery and learning the game as I go.
The year 1267. War hung in the air, its scent palpable. The mighty empire of Nilfgaard stood poised, greedily eyeing the northern realms just across the Yaruga. In light of the threat, the realm sovereigns met in summit. They made declarations, pledged fraternal assistance, forged alliances, and then, in good spirits, dispersed. Among them, Neve, queen of the twin realms Lyria and Rivia. Know the name? Heard her beauty extolled? Justly so. Remarkable she was. Not for her graceful exterior, but for her persistence and courage. Where was I? As the queen and her retinue neared her capital, Count Caldwell appeared. In Neve's absence, the Count was to have helped her son, the youthful Prince Willem, run the Twin Kingdoms. Caldwell had clearly ridden hard. Drops of perspiration dangled from his whiskers, his neck red and chafed from a ruff, starched stiff.
Hail, Your Majesty. Delighted to see you in good health. The summit, it ended fruitfully, I hope?
Yes, at its end, letters were exchanged, documents signed. Paper. Time will tell of what value. That will suffice as cordialities go, Caldwell. Tell me what's happened, for I sincerely doubt sheer longing prompted you to ride out.
Indeed, Your Grace. Another circumstance inspired me to do so. The strays of Spala, the bandits, I was attended to during your Grace's absence. The situation's gotten out of hand, I fear.
I deliberated. Wasn't at all certain in giving you the task. I knew you to be an equally good strategist as I am a shepherdess. So my intuition said no. Yet Reynard interceded on your behalf. Your Grace, they're common bandits, while the Count will have a host of men-at-arms to command. Next time, I shall trust my gut. All right, speak. What has happened? Be precise.
As your Grace ordained, I set out and was nipping at the bandits' tails for long. We pursued for weeks, until scouts returned, having sighted the strays' camp in the forest near Locheren. We waited for nightfall, to surprise them as they slept. Alas, it proved a ruse. We found the tents empty, straw-stuffed dummies round the fire. Soon, we learned that as we waited for the sunset, the strays had snuck away, rounded our positions and ridden to Hawksburn.
I beg your pardon, my lord. The tax collectors. That is where they station.
So the gold? All of it?
It's stolen, your Grace, but I shall do all in my power to recover it. This I vow, if it be your Grace's wish.
After weeks in the saddle, your Grace's wishes are modest. A hot bath and a night's sleep in her own bed. Yet, they shall have to wait. I must look personally to this matter. Your force, Caldwell, I will now command. You... send a herald to Hawksburn. They must prepare for the Queen's arrival. Air the rooms, dust off the porcelain. Make certain they do it. Do you see now, Reynard? I believe I foretold it would be thus. My son wasn't ready in the least to rule an entire country.
I confess, Prince Willem has much to learn yet.
Yes. And very little time.
You can control your character using the left click, follow the cobblestone road to reach the next stage of your journey. Okay, actually I'm gonna go backwards. So, Caldwell, I don't trust him. I think he's complicit with the bandits. Her son. Oh yeah, they said something that he doesn't have much time to prepare for being a ruler, so I wonder if something's gonna happen to Meve. You will expand your army throughout the game, but to do so you must collect the following types of resources: gold, wood, and recruits. While on the road, you can find useful items and even new companions who will support you in battle. If you don't want to miss anything, be sure to thoroughly explore the map and complete side quests.
Oh, thought it were bandits riding in.
Alright, that's recruits. Wood. Is there a hold to highlight resources or interactable objects? Doesn't look like it. So in terms of the types of games I like to play, I do tend to like to play role-playing games, strategy games. I'm more inclined to play turn-based games. I will sometimes play real-time games. More likely I will play a real-time with pause game because my reflexes are not great. I'm not very coordinated. Is one reason.
Milka. They stretched her over a fire till she told them where she buried her gold. Rather die than tell him she would. But I know where she kept it. Sit tight. Sketch it out for you.
Why wouldn't you just take the gold? That's awfully generous of you to give away Milka's gold to me. What? Oh, now it's a treasure chest. Boom, 260 gold. Alright. I'll tell you guys once I get to the part of the game that I haven't yet played. An obstacle blocks your path. To remove it, you will need to spend some of your resources. Alright. Your Majesty, it seems someone has felled an old oak which now blocks the road. Unfortunately, our wagons cannot go around it. How do you wish to proceed? I can have the loggers sort the matter. Our soldiers should conserve their strength. That costs me gold and I'll gain some wood. Or I could issue axes to the soldiers and put them to work. I think we shall issue axes to the soldiers and put them to work. -1 recruit, plus 25 wood. I have no idea what the consequences of that will be in the long run. Most interactive objects are marked clearly on your map, but not all. Some events cannot be predicted, so you'd best be prepared for anything.
Count Caldwell rode at the column's head, scanning its flanks with a wary eye that, despite his advanced age, proved very sharp indeed.
Your Majesty! Bandits! There! At the tree line!
The Count's footmen, unaccustomed to escorting their queen, sought to shield her with their bodies and assumed a tight formation to do so. They were promptly knocked aside as Meave charged headlong at the bandits, brandishing her blade and bellowing a ferocious cry.
Attack! Charge!
See, of course Caldwell knew where the bandits were because, well, he saw them because he knew where they were. That's what's going on. Meave was convinced the bandits would flee to the cover of the forest upon realizing their grave mistake. After all, no ordinary bandit would dare attack the retinue of the queen. Yet the strays of Spalla were of a different breed. They held nothing sacred. Story battle, a key battle, Meave story. Unique cards may appear in your hand or deck. Custom deck, unique cards will appear in this battle. Alright, start battle. This is the battlefield. You will play your cards on the bottom half, and your opponent will play on the top. Bottom, top. Units can be played on one of two rows, melee or ranged. But remember, the abilities of some cards may be different depending on the row you play them. A standard battle can last up to 3 rounds. The first to win 2 rounds wins the whole match. Players alternate their turns. During your turn, you can play only one card, but you can use any number of abilities. The player who goes first in a match is the same who initiated the battle. In this case, you encountered an ambush, so your opponent will have the first turn.
That is the white of an eye from half a league away. To attack the Queen? An outrage!
The strength of each unit you play adds to your army's total strength. The player whose army has the most strength points at the end of a round will win the round. Some units have armor. Armor absorbs a certain amount of damage dealt to the unit.
Your Grace, the men await. You must lead to begin the attack.
Most cards have an ability of some kind. To learn more about it, select the card and read its short description. Additional information will appear if you right-click on the card. Play any card. Alright, so what I got Lyrian Scytheman, Human Blitz. I do know from playing a little bit ahead when I was testing things out that Blitz is a keyword that, I don't know if this is the entirety of Blitz, but I do know that at least one of its implications is that it's a keyword that other abilities trigger off of. Loyal, boosts self by 5. So right click, Loyal, trigger this ability automatically when your leader's ability is used. Our folk they feed and our foes they bleed. Oh, that's a rhyme. Good stuff, good stuff. Lyrian Arbalest, Human Blitz. When they're deployed, they damage an enemy by the number of cards on this row, including themselves. Reach 2. Yeah. So when I first tried out the game, I didn't realize what the reach 2 meant. I tried to, well, spawn a guy where his ability would not be within range of attacking a foe, and I just basically wasted it. But it just means that there's, oh, let's see. So there's 4 spaces here. If I were to place this guy here, and the only enemies were at the back row, this guy wouldn't be able to affect them because it'd be 1, 2, 3 away. It's got, I can find the bullseye from 100 paces. Perhaps not with my first shot, mind you. Count Caldwell. Human Blitz. He's got a puppy. I like the way the cards are animated. Deploy. Play a copy of each adjacent unit from your deck. Trigger this ability when played. So he's going to play later. I think first we're going to go with this dude here.
Aye, salt of the earth they are, Your Grace. They'd follow you into fire. You need simply say the word.
Yeah. Yeah, like him. how do I... So, Scythemen have the Loyal ability. This means that their other abilities are activated every time you use Meave's ability. Each leader has its own unique ability. To learn what it is, just select the leader. Meave's ability allows her to boost a unit's strength and add armor to it. She can use this ability once every few turns. To use Meave's ability, first select her. Then select one of your units. So her ability is boost an ally by 4 and give it 1 armor. Pull down 3. I wonder if later I'm gonna have opportunities to play different leaders. That'd be interesting.
I shall teach you to respect the crown, you dogs!
You cannot make any more moves. It's time to end your turn.
We'll catch 'em all!
Whenever an enemy... Oh, I never saw a cavalry before. Whenever an enemy takes damage, boost self by 1. The strays are growing bolder. They're stealing horses from bloody royal stables. Damn strays. What is this, Reynard? Bandits attacking royal tax collectors? In broad daylight? Move 1 unit to the offices. Unit damage by 1. Okay.
1 vote.
Look out! Seek cover! We are bombarded!
Your opponent's cards also have abilities. Be sure to read their descriptions carefully and adapt your strategy accordingly. Play any card. Count Caldwell.
If you insist.
Give me a target.
Oh, see, I did it again. I can't reach the cavalry. Whatever.
The strays took tail and run! Yes! Our victory is assured! Sound the horns! May they sing praises of this triumph for ages!
When you have played all of your cards, the end turn button will turn into a pass button. When you pass, you will not be able to perform any actions until the start of your next turn. To end the last turn of a round, press the coin button. The player whose army has the most strength points at the end of a round will win the round. In the event of a tie, both players will receive a victory point.
The battle's not yet done. It is better to conserve our strength. Prepare for a strike that will prove decisive. Battle formation! Protect the Queen!
The player who won the previous round will play first in the next round.
Should have listened to me, old lady.
You cannot make any more moves. It's time to end your turn.
Thing about slings, they hide well.
This harvest will be reaping black-clad heads.
The chase is on!
Yeah. It's not a slinger. Alrighty.
Arbalista, your command.
You've won 2 rounds in a row, which means you are the battle's victor. Congratulations!
I congratulate you on your latest victory, Your Grace. The bandits stood not a chance.
Matters seem indeed to have gotten out of hand, to put it mildly.
Meave said, arms crossed atop her shining breastplate.
They've grown bold. Doubtless after the raid on the manor, the tax collectors. I've not heard of an ambush on the high road afore.
Caldwell explained, avoiding his liege's wrathful gaze.
Enough, Caldwell. We must put things right. Come!
The Queen's retinue set out, cavalry in front, infantry and arbalists close behind, and, following in the rear, the bandits, bound in chains.
I wonder how long I'll remain bound with Caldwell in the group. Is that everything? I got a text from my boss.
I do adore this prospect.
Yes. Lyria, the Pearl of the North. with its hills and dales. Why, its beauty matched only by that of its queen.
After 3 weeks in the saddle, I've my doubts, Count. We shall pitch camp here. Our soldiers need respite. A spell of it they deserve.
To survey your army, you must first pitch camp. Pitch camp by pressing the tent button on the left side of the screen. Camp building allows you to expand your army and give you access to important information. Most camp buildings can be improved in your workshop. These improvements will give you access to stronger units, thus easing your journey down the line. Enter the workshop. There's not really anything to enter. Here, you can build and improve camp buildings. To improve your camp buildings, you must first collect the appropriate quantity of gold and wood. For your journey, you will definitely need access to a regional map, but to get it, you will first need to improve your royal tent. Upgrade the royal tent to level 2. Must I? I guess I must. Alright. Hold left. Okay. Thanks to this improvement, you now have access to the regional map, which you can open from the main game screen. The workshop itself can also be improved. With each subsequent improvement, you will gain access to new, stronger units. Go to the command tent to view your army. Which one's the command tent? This one? Command tent. In the command tent, you can create units and build your army from available cards. Improving this building will increase your army's recruit cap, allowing you to use stronger units. I think that's this right here. This is my recruit cap. The cards currently in your deck are displayed on the left-hand side. Oh, Reynard's in there. All cards available for you to create and place in your deck are displayed on the main screen. You can gain access to new cards by upgrading your training grounds and workshops as well as through certain story-related tasks. Grayed out cards are available but have not yet been created. You must first create them before you can include them in your deck. Your deck must contain a minimum of 25 cards while not exceeding your army's recruit cap. Currently, your recruit cap sits at 125 points. To create new cards, you need a particular resource, recruits. You can gain recruits at conscription posts, which are marked on the map with the helmet icon, as well as through certain story-related tasks. You've received additional resources to recruit a Wagenburg card. Right-click now on Wagenburg to preview and recruit it. Scout the bows. Okay, so Wagenburg, 5 strength, 15. I guess that's the recruit cap or whatever the term is. Order: damage all units on an enemy row by this unit's armor amount, then lose all armor. Gain 1 armor whenever a card appears on this row. Order is an ability that's triggered manually by the player. Units with order cannot be used for 1 turn after being placed on the battlefield, whereas artifacts can be used immediately. Okay, so units cannot have to wait and artifacts don't. Armor absorbs a given amount of damage when it's removed. Hey! Walls on wheels! They stole my idea! They stole my idea! There, that's better. Recruit. So it's recruitment costs, it costs 2 recruits. Alright. Magic. What? I got 2 of them? Oh, alright. Add Wagenburg to your deck. You can now view and create new cards or return to the main game screen to continue your journey. So I have my minimum number of cards. Oh. Okay, so I guess this is a filter based on the recruit cap that... Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Okay. So, what do I have? I have Meve with the longsword. Meve longsword. Okay, I guess maybe later she will have something other than a longsword. We have a Lyrian... Oh, no, give me that back. We have a Lyrian banner, permanent resilience. When Meve... Okay, resilience. Status that allows a card to remain on the board at round end, then restores it to base power if boosted. When Meve uses her ability, reduce her cooldown by 1. Yeah. Order. I can move to the other row. An ability triggered. Okay, so I can make it move to a different row. I think that's what that means. Fortitude tonic. Oh, I gotta read the flavor. Our emblem, a black eagle. Fate of our foes, pure misery. Fortitude tonic. Boost a unit by 10. God. Oh, that's army strength or something like that. What field hospital? Soldier, put that arm in a sling. Take 2 swigs of tonic and get your arse back in formation. Reynard. Odo. Okay. Deploy. Give 1 charge to units with depleted order. Right, so that'd be like deploy. Blah blah blah. That's all. Under your husband, I served 10 years. Under you, another 8. And never in that time did I fight for a more worthy cause. Count Caldwell. Play a copy of... I already know what he does. War wagon. What? Spawn 2 light infantry on the right. Human. Move to the... Okay. They can move to the other row, or they damage a random enemy by 5 when they are moved from the battlefield to the graveyard. Okay. Okay. Lyrian Arbalest, I know about that. Regiment Drummer, play the top Blitz unit from your deck. Yeah, so this is what I was talking about. So, Blitz is a keyword that just triggers other, so far anyway, just triggers, allows other abilities to trigger on them. Charge 1. Fogenberg. Okay, we just looked at that guy. Play a random ally for field medic. Play a random ally from your graveyard. Okay, Lyrian Scytheman, we know what that is. I guess I'm not going to read all the flavor text. I'll read that on my own time. Rivian Pikeman, Human Blitz. Summon all copies of this unit. I have 2 copies. Trigger this ability when played. Okay. I'm not accustomed to interruptions. I'm not going to buy anything now. I'm going to keep my deck until it's insufficient. You can now take a look at your other camp buildings to familiarize yourself with their functions, or you can return to the main game screen to continue your journey. And the reason I don't want to buy any more cards right now, or sorry, units, is because I know about some of these upgrades to my buildings that I want. So primarily I'm going to want this pretty early on. Increase Meve's movement on the map by 5%. Increase, and then Cartographer's Table 2. Increase Meve's movement on the map by 15%. Now, those are very convenient. They'll speed up my gameplay, which I like because I don't like wasting my time. But this is not a good game mechanic. Like, I get really annoyed when I see this sort of thing in games. Basically, they're kind of holding my time hostage and using in-game mechanics to free up some of that time. It's not something that affects decision making in the game. It's not something that affects the mechanics of the game. It's not something that makes the game easier or harder. All it does is it affects my real life. Like, it should not be these should just be default available. Like, you should just have them from the get-go, move around the map more quickly. It's not happy about that. Okay, so then I know that here there's some resource gathering upgrades, which I have mixed feelings about those. But anyway, I don't have enough gold either way, but as soon as I have enough gold, which is not far away, I'm going to get the training grounds so that I can get the access to the Forager's Quarters, which give me 25 to 75 gold for every battle won. Let's see, right there. And the Herald Study. Game a recruit after every battle won. Is there anything else like that? And then I guess these unlock later in the game. So back we go, off to the mess tent. You can talk with your companions in the mess tent. Give them a little bit of your time and you may just learn a secret or two. Talk to... well, I can't remember. I forgot his name.
A bit of respite, Reynard?
Yes. But if you've any new orders, Your Grace, I can be ready at any...
At ease, Reynard. At ease. Alas, I've come to fear Willem might simply not be cut out to be a king, let alone a good one.
A harsh judgment, Your Grace. Let's not be hasty. The prince is but 16 summers to him.
And is thus fully grown. The crown he should be able to bear at his age. Yet I left the land in his care for but a few months, and look what's become of it. Bandits roam and loot unchecked.
We might yet learn of mitigating circumstances. Events beyond his control.
Like Caldwell.
Would that it were so, Reynard. Would that it were so. Elsewise, we must hope Ansaeus will demonstrate more wit than his brother. Though I see little chance of that either.
Whoa, she doesn't think much for children.
Don't you find it wearisome sitting alone? Wouldn't you prefer another's company? Swapping tales with the innkeep, even?
Your concern I most appreciate, Your Grace. But I prefer silence.
Has it always been thus with you? Ever a man apart?
Quite the contrary, Your Grace. As a youth, I gloried in company, delighted in conversation.
So what was it that changed you?
That delight nearly cost me my head. But do you truly not know the tale, milady? How I came to be your departed husband's aide?
I don't, but would gladly hear it.
I had but 20 winters behind me when I enlisted. Yet I was granted the rank of lieutenant from the start, not by merit, but by birth. The respect of veteran officers, both my peers and seniors, that they could not grant. Nor did I deserve it. To earn that respect became my driving aim, and to seem wise beyond my years, I began spouting off about the king's decisions. This maneuver Reginald botched, that he failed to think through, and yet elsewhere he'd blundered like a schoolboy.
Well, a brilliant strategist Reginald was not. They dubbed him the courageous, not the cunning, for good reason, I dare say.
It was not long before I was clanking about in shackles. Another officer had reported me. I was charged with lèse-majesté.
What's that mean?
The court-martial took but a quarter of an hour to deliver verdict and sentence. I was guilty of treason, and the noose awaited me. But Reginald first stayed the execution, then ordered that I repeat every word I'd uttered about his person or deeds. Soaked with sweat, my voice cracking, I did as he ordained. Reginald listened, raptly and silently, and when I'd finished, he declared I was right. He then appointed me his personal aide. A clever lad like you, I can always use at my side.
Indeed. Though hardly sharp himself, wisdom in others Reginald both recognized and heeded.
It was then I swore two things. Firstly, never again to wag my tongue like a fool. Secondly, never to betray his trust.
And you never did. Know what he told me moments before he passed? Trust none of them, Meave. Save Reynard. The old sod was right about that, at least. I thank you for sharing that tale, Reynard. Truly. It's time I attended to other matters.
Next is Grey Rider. Oh, okay. I guess you've been with me for 30 minutes now, guys. This feel like an eternity. Oh, remember that... Oh, shoot. That's not what I meant to do. Remember that you can open your map by clicking on the compass rose icon on the left side of your screen. Your primary task is marked with an exclamation point. To see what awaits you next, scroll through the map. Trees and roads and an exclamation point. So, when I was testing things out, I got to... Well, not quite to the exclamation point. I think I got to right here. That's when I stopped playing, decided, you know... I'm gonna start over again if I need to test more things, which I did a few times. Open legend. Back. Okay, I'm going to go back to the camp because I wasn't done there. It says Royal Tent. In the Royal Tent, you can view letters and maps you've received so far, as well as keys and card fragments. The Royal Tent screen can also be accessed from the main game screen by pressing the knapsack icon. So, I feel like reading these letters out loud is going to be really boring for viewers. I'm not really sure what to do about those. This time I'm going to read them if you do become interested in my in my videos. Tell me what you think about that, and I'm guessing nobody will like it, and they'll tell me to stop if they say anything at all, so I'll stop if you say so. Royal Steward's letter. Your Highness, artisans from Gradabor have prepared a new tapestry pattern for the throne room. I've included an engraving of the design. You will be pleased with it, I hope. A centurion lion. Oh man, I can't read. A centurion lion inherited from King Karam I. Bared fangs offer stunning realism, and the ancestral sword of the Delans of Temeria appears forged in the very depths of Mahakam. I've no doubt it shall prove the castle's latest masterpiece. We eagerly await your return, my lady. Gustave Perrault, Royal Steward. Dear Meve, you've my gratitude for attending the summit. What luck! We did not put off meeting any longer. From what my men say, armies on the march are kicking up a veritable dust storm across the Yaruga. Come what may, remember, you have my full and unconditional support. Best wishes, Demavend. Report, Nilfgaardian movements. Noted increased Nilfgaardian activity in foothills of Amel Mountain and near Reedbroon. Ambassador claims routine training exercises. Number of troops, quality of equipment indicate otherwise. Recommend strengthening border forces and tripling patrols along Yaruga. Report, Strays of Spala. Strays of Spala, bandit group, formed after the revolt in dungeons of Spala Castle. Mainly pickpockets, racketeers, cutpurses, assassins. Armed with slings, daggers, instruments of torture stolen from Spala. Headsmen's axes, saws, hammers. Cleverer and bolder than common bandits, attack heavily armed convoys, noblemen's mansions. Unable to determine identity of group's leader. Caldwell! It's Caldwell! Alright, back. Exit camp. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.